Hello and welcome to Washington Live, powered by KCTC. I'm your friendly neighborhood host today, Todd Patterson, and I'm joined in the studio today by our ever-present, ever-fun-loving producer, Nick Steffens.
Ever-present makes it omnipotent.
You must feel like you spend a lot of time here, though, to be honest with you.
Well, I spend at least 40 hours a week here.
Well, that's not that much, actually,
yeah,
if I'm
really
thinking about it. Our publisher is Matt Bryant, and we are also joined in the studio by a good friend of mine, also a co-worker and a bandmate, Mr. John Woodward.
Thanks for having me,
John.
Appreciate it.
Yeah. So we're going to talk to John a little bit about some of the things that he does for the Washington County Hospital Foundation, and then also we'll kind of chat about the various musical pursuits that we have, and whether groupies like drummers or keyboard players more.
I think drummers. We've identified.
Well, that hasn't borne out in our band. All right, so why don't we start talking about, let's start with the weather today. Mm-hmm. You have 10 degrees, it feels like 1 and sunny, but when we got here, it's a little bit warmer than that, but certainly not much.
That's what AccuWeather told me, so blame AccuWeather.
All right, well, it's 10 degrees and it feels like 1. It's definitely sunny out. Local events. I mean, we just walked through what felt like a gigantic forest fire to get here. We parked kind of over by Marion Avenue, right? Yep. Mm-hmm. And walked up that way because the streets were blocked off because there was a fire, I guess, this morning. I don't know what time. You sent me some pictures earlier.
Yeah, it was around 8 o'clock or so that I saw some pictures being posted and stuff. But I think it's up above the Laundromat, I believe is the name of the business.
Yeah,
so they
just south of the courthouse, looks like on the northwest corner kind of. Mm-hmm. So I hope everybody's all right from that. Obviously, it looked like things were in control and contained when we drove by or walked by. And I just want to give a quick shout out to our firefighters. Mm-hmm. I think the police, our sheriff's office, all the people that would have responded to that, they do such a great job in this town. And it's amazing to me that you can have a fire when it's 10 degrees.
Yeah.
Maybe it's because it's so sunny. I just hope everybody's okay, and I want to thank those that responded to that fire. So, what else we got?
Local events.
You want to talk about this? Because this is so exciting. I just feel like, and we've got the name straight now. So.
Yeah, I off the air I said John Bolton.
Who
is the national security.
Who's probably even less entertaining than this gentleman.
Michael Bolton will be in Riverside, apparently, which I will admit I have never heard a single one of his songs.
How can we be lovers if we can't be friends?
Doesn't even ring a bell.
And I'll tell you what, even if we are friends, I feel warmly towards both you guys, but let's, drive along. He also did how am I supposed to live without you? That was his most famous song.
Yeah.
He needs to shorten his song titles.
they don't flow very glibly off the tongue, I don't feel. No.
Glibly, excellent word.
I hope John's not. John.
Michael.
Why do I keep messing that up?
I know he probably tunes into Washington Live every week, but let's hope he doesn't for this one.
Yeah. So he is here at the Riverside Casino and Golf Resort from 8 to 9:30. He's a multi-Grammy Award winner, songwriter, and humanitarian. And actually, I really like going to see shows over at the Riverside. They're only an hour and a half at my age, and they have chairs. At my age, it's great. Like, you know how long you're going to be there. Mm-hmm. You sit down. It's very relaxed. Yep. In my 20s, I wouldn't have liked it, but now I really appreciate it. Let's talk about the police report. There's a couple of pretty good ones in here. Actually, can I start with the Iowa City ones?
Yeah, go ahead.
Maybe I'll just do the Iowa City ones. So there was a 911 call in Iowa City. A small child on the phone said his dad needs help. Not sure what kind of help he needed. Sounds awful to start with, right? Yep. His dad was outside shoveling.
That's a good son.
That's a great son. They should have a hotline for shoveling emergencies. All right. There was another gentleman who called 911. He was trying to place a food order, dialed 911 by mistake.
I don't know how you do that.
I've been hungry before.
Did he continue to try to order food? That's the question that I want to know.
Will you be in the area, sir, ma'am?
I mean, we don't exactly have like DoorDash here. I don't know. So maybe they could double up and, yeah.
All right. Well, You have anything you want to add before we take a quick commercial break?
No, I can think of.
We'll take a quick commercial break, and when we come back, you'll see the joke of the day, which I think couldn't have been delivered any better when I saw it in preview. If I
Flawless.
tried, it's flawless. And we'll get talking with our guest today, John Woodward.
Federation Bank is a locally owned bank providing award-winning customer service. We believe that we are more than just a federation of banks, but a federation of communities, serving Brighton, Richland, Wellman, and Washington, Iowa. Federation Bank's highly skilled staff is here to make sure you are able to accomplish your personal and professional goals, whatever they may be. Federation Bank, your family bank.
Hospice isn't a place, it's a type of care that focuses on living. Servicing a 7-county area, the Hospice of Washington County staff of nurses, social work, hospice aides, spiritual and grief support, volunteers, music and massage therapists are able to provide free end-of-life care where the patient lives. We write wills, give consent for organ donation, but rarely is there a plan for what we would want the final phase of our lives. At Hospice of Washington County, we encourage our patients to be in charge of their healthcare decisions while maintaining quality of life.
Family owned and operated by Andy and Sarah Ross. Ross Auto has been your vehicle repair and maintenance headquarters since 1935. We specialize in all makes of cars and light-duty trucks. With our variety of available services, let us help you keep rolling and your vehicle operating efficiently. Services include general auto repair, alignments, brakes, fuel injection, and more. Schedule your appointment today at 319-653-5656. That's 319-653-5656.
Hey, Emmy, what has more lives than a cat? A frog, because it croaks every day. Welcome back to Washington Live. I'm your host, Todd Patterson. We're powered by KCTC. I'm excited today to be joined by a friend of mine, John Woodward, who I also work with and play in a band with. It's almost like I don't get a break from him sometimes, if I'm being honest. John, thanks for being here today.
And thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
So you've been working at the Hospital Foundation for just about a year?
Just about a year. Yep. End of March, it'll be a year.
In a year. That's what I thought. So talk a little bit about what your role is there and, what is the Washington County Hospital Foundation and kind of what does it do?
Sure. So 1995 would have been when the foundation was first originated. And it started with like pies and bake sales. And the whole genesis of the foundation was really around a couple of things. One, it's the kind of 501c3 arm to help move special projects forward with the hospital that we have. And we'll talk about some of those projects as we go forward now. But the other thing is that for instance, if there was ever inability for the hospital from a tax situation here in town or any other ways to really keep the doors open. We wanted there to be able to be a surplus that could actually keep the hospital running and going in the event of things like emergencies and shortfalls in income and that kind of thing. So there's a multifaceted approach as to why that the foundation was originated, but it is exponentially growing since then, and we're very excited about that and continues to grow even further. As far as my role, I'm going to blame this one on you, Todd, the actual name, Major Gifts Development Officer. Shorten it up, I sell the hospital. I sell and I build relationships for the hospital. And I work with local businesses and also private donors as well to secure funds for special projects and special needs and activities that we have going with the hospital. Some of those things right now that will be in place, for instance, we just received a naming gift for the hospital over the last several months for a new specialty clinic that is now under bid and everything, obviously, as you well know. It feels kind of funny telling you about this because it's like...
Well, you can talk to the camera.
Exactly.
I'm pretty in tune with it. But.
Yeah, I think you have a good handle on things there.
Well, one thing I did want to mention, before you get into some of that, you mentioned tax protections. And I think one of the things is, the development of the foundation over the years. So a lot of people may not know this, but... the Washington County Hospital in particular has taxing authority. We're a county-funded hospital. And one of the things that we haven't done is raised taxes in 20 years.
Yep.
And that's part and parcel because of the proceeds that we get from the foundation and can use on an annual basis, both for projects like you're saying, but also offsetting operating expenses.
Definitely.
So to that end, you were just starting to talk about some of the projects that we're doing that are big, that are being assisted by,
Sure.
or totally funded in some cases by the foundation.
There's been several different things even in the past year. So for instance, the transition that's in play right now for Epic, so our electronic medical records health tracking system, is pretty amazing that we'll be able to have something like that here in Washington County. So we were able to receive a grant for that within the last year that myself and a couple other folks got together and collaborated on to be able to write and produce that. So that was pretty exciting.
Yeah, I think that's about a $5.5 million project,
Yeah.
and we were able to leverage some funds from the foundation to be able to write a grant to the USDA, and you guys got about a $750,000 grant to help support that implementation, which is incredible and a huge gift to our institution.
Definitely. So there's a lot of awesome events that we get to be a part of as well. So our give a shout out to our marketing team. So Greta Clemens, Emmy Keith, Brandon Glaspie, they do an incredible job with working side by side with us at the foundation on these events. So the ones coming up, I wanted to make sure and shout out Kids Fest is coming up on May 19th, 4:30 to 7:30 downtown. It's always a big deal here on the square. So if you have questions about sponsorships or anything like that, you can reach out to our marketing department there at the hospital. But this summer we'll have a couple of golf tournaments. Pickleball tournament is coming to Washington. Let me tell you, if you haven't been to the YMCA at like 7 a.m. in the mornings, I almost hate referring to it as this because it's a negative connotation, but it's almost a cult. It's pretty outstanding. There's a ton of people that show up to play pickleball, and so we're going to host a tournament at the end of June. That's sponsored, of course, by the foundation right here in Washington. We'll be using those new outdoor courts over there over by Case Field in that area, and then also maybe partnering in conjunction with the Halcyon House as well. So lots of cool stuff happening there.
So let's say, and for any of these events, let's just say people want to buy teams, they want to sign up for them, they contact you,
Yep.
or they contact our marketing?
So they'll contact me. So Jay Woodward at WCHC.org, or you can reach me at 319-863-2054. So reach out to me and we'll be happy to get you all set up for any kind of sponsorships or teams.
So what is the next event that you have coming up?
So the Kids Fest is the closest one coming up right now, but I think for the ones that we're specifically talking about will be the golf tournament at Riverside Casino. We have it every year. It's called our Golf Classic. That'll be our next big one.
And that one's usually somewhere in the neighborhood of 30 teams.
Yeah, so we're going to game for between 34 to 36 teams.
36 teams.
Which is pretty exciting.
Okay.
But it's usually right around, like you said, that neighborhood of 30 teams. It's held at the Blue Top Ridge up at Riverside. It's an incredible day.
Really great
to be
event.
out there. Yep,
Yeah.
definitely.
Nice reception afterwards. Even a little possible wagering going on beforehand.
Yeah, there is a Calcutta. So if you know some teams, if you got some ringers out there that can really get out there and swing the sticks, you bring them out there, and we'll have a good time, and maybe you put some money behind them. And it's really neat about that because everyone that buys into the Calcutta, a certain percentage of it just goes off the top to the foundation. But then you can walk away with some pretty good prize money as well if you bet on the right team, or maybe you bet on yourself. Maybe you're an excellent golfer. So.
And then we also have a golf event here in Washington, which is later in the summer, I think.
We do, and kind of exciting news around that. Recently departed Ken Hansen was a big part of the foundation at the hospital and a big part of our community, and we've actually renamed that from the Washington County Hospital and Clinics Golf Scramble, which also, again, does not flow glibly off the tongue, to the Ken Hansen Invitational. And so we're excited to honor him and his memory as we move forward with that.
Nick, are you able to look up the word glibly? I think it means
I can do
irrelevantly, softly, or
Like smoothly.
How do you spell that?
I want to say it's
GLIBB.
No.
That's glib.
Yeah.
And then LY obviously
Todd wants
turns
to call
it.
me out on this incorrect because Todd is somewhat of a.
Well, he used the word obsequious the other day, and like a way you could argue it was correct.
There's one interpretation. There's many applications. That's what I was trying to tell you. It's all right.
I got it.
So according to Cambridge Dictionary,
Which I think is a reputable one.
glibly, is that what we're
Yeah, glib.
Oh, with a 1B.
Yes.
In a way that is confident but is too simple and lacks careful thought. He spoke glibly about an economic recovery just around the corner.
No, I think you're hitting that pretty well.
All right.
But who knows? Maybe we should look it up in the Webster one.
Yeah, I don't know if I can trust.
All right. Let's take a quick break. When we come back, we'll talk a little bit about Aces and Eights. How about that?
Sounds good.
All right.
Since 1905, Kelowna Cooperative Technology Company has helped our community stay connected with the latest advancements in clear, dependable telecommunications services. KCTC provides rural Iowans with access to high-speed fiber internet, as well as phone, television, computer repair, and cybersecurity solutions. We're also proud supporters of local organizations and area schools within the community. KCTC, keeping Kelowna connected.
At the Capper Auto Group, we put our customers' needs first and understand that everyone is as different as the vehicle they select. We offer new Ford, Chevrolet, Buick, GMC, Jeep, Chrysler, Dodge, and Ram vehicles in a friendly environment that puts you in the driver's seat. When it comes to service, we maintain factory-trained technicians and competitive pricing. The Capper Auto Group still believes that service after the sale provides the best customer experience. Come see the Capper experience for yourself.
Tammy takes the time and has the personal interest in each one of us. I don't worry about what's going to happen because I know my policy is taken care of.
She pulls what I need and puts it together, which is the program I get from her.
Every year she calls around September or so and says, there's changes again, and I'm going to do the best thing for you. It's been perfect. She does a great job.
Welcome back to Washington Live. I'm your host, Todd Patterson. I'm joined in the studio by my fellow bandmate and, actually we've been in several different kind of bands together. We've played in the City Point Church Band. That's actually how I met you.
Yeah.
And then when did you, I joined Aces and Eights, I think in 2018, 2019. Played a full year with them. COVID hit. And you joined like right at the beginning of COVID, didn't you?
Right.
Somewhere?
It would have been November of, it was actually near the end of it. Yeah, it would have been, was it 19? I thought it was 20. It should have been, I'm guessing it probably should have been 20.
It was of November of 20?
Yeah.
Yeah,
it was October, November of 2020.
Yeah, that year we canceled pretty much all of our gigs. That was a pretty depressing year for gigging, that's for sure.
It worked out, in the sense that we were able to still like get together and practice quite a bit, and that helped me on board before we actually had our first show. Yeah. So I had a lot of practice time leading up instead of just getting dropped right into a live environment, which was helpful.
So we had a rhythm guitar player and singer who's a very good singer named Shannon Shepard, and he moved to Bonaparte, and so wasn't able to continue playing with us. And so we were in need of some additional vocals and some additional guitar playing, and so you didn't fill the bill on the guitar playing side, but you brought keys too. So talk a little bit about your musical background, because I think it's kind of fascinating.
It's eclectic, that's for sure. So grew up going to the Baptist church here in town, and never took piano lessons, can't read music. Everything is just by ear. And then I went to 2 different colleges. One of them I traveled in a gospel singing quartet. That's where I kind of learned like harmonies and everything else, whether it was a choir, whether it was in a quartet, and then to kind of fast forward over time. First time ever I went to a karaoke bar, kind of snuck out to one when I was actually in college, and kind of got hooked there. I sang Kenny Chesney for the first time ever live, and I was like, well, this is kind of fun, and it all just kind of went from there.
High up in a coconut tree?
I think there goes my life. So shocking, like surprise, like 6-8 times, 6-8 times for sure. Absolutely. That's the inside joke.
So if you don't know John very well, he's an emotional human being. He wears his emotions on his sleeves, and you can tell by his song choices what kind of mood he's in. So
for
the drummer, you're basically, and if you're in a country band, you're either in 4/4 time, or if you're wanting to play something really slow and sad, you play it in 6/8 time. And
so now we have a reference. If I'm ever having a bad day, Todd goes, well, you're in that 6/8 time of life right now. So
let's keep going.
But no, so I came back here to Iowa and then got an invitation to kind of be a part of the City Point band, and that was really fun. Kind of neat to get to experience that. And then the first time we ever met, I'll never forget this. You were wearing like Crocs, like a sweatpants with some holes in it, and some kind of metal T-shirt. And you were just like, "Hey, I'm Todd." I'm like, "Oh, yeah." You're like, "I work for the hospital." I did not know he was the CEO of the hospital. I'm like, "Okay, who's this guy?" And then he just gets up there and he's just shredding it on the drums. I'm like, "All right, he's really good." And then from there, and then I talked to Dana, his wife, who was already playing at the time, and I was like, "So Todd works at the hospital?" She goes, "Well, he runs the hospital." I was like, "Oh, well, that's different."
I probably didn't want to say that with Crocs and sweatpants.
Yeah. But you were talking about earlier, you can't get away from me. I feel like this is your fault because you invited me to play in Aces and Eights. Later on, invited me to interview for the hospital. So I'm kind of like, this might be self-inflicted.
Yeah, I mean, it could also be out of a low level of desperation too. But you forget what actually. To me, we were down in
Nashville.
No. Well, we were down in Nashville, but I forget what a great singer you are, really, until I compare you against normal people. And so where were we? We were in Van Buren County. We were supposed to go down and play for a big biker show.
Yep, and then the rain came.
It rained all day, and so we ended up playing in Hotel Manning. And it was a great show. It was a lot of fun. Afterwards, though, we went and did karaoke. And so I listened to...
Where was there karaoke in Keosauqua, Iowa?
Well, it was
a little small bar downtown.
The event was sponsored by... There were 3 bars right down there. They were sponsored by those 3 bars, the event. And so afterwards, we went to one of them, and we had a few drinks, and we were doing karaoke. And I listened to all these people go through. And then John and Heather are there. So John got up and did Should Have Been a Cowboy by Toby Keith. And basically everybody stopped talking and just looked at him and watched him sing. And then Heather got up and did Crazy.
Crushed it. She crushed it.
Patsy Cline. Mm-hmm. And I was like, wow, these guys are really, really talented. And so I kind of forget that. But so it wasn't just desperation, and it certainly wasn't pity. It was because you have really a lot of talent. And if anybody's ever seen us, they know first it's about drumming, and second, it's really about vocals. So
very specific order. Very clear.
All right. Well, if anybody, so I don't know if the Cattleman's thing that we're doing is open to the public. I think it is.
I think so. They give you tickets for it, but yeah.
So I think there's a Cattleman's event on the whatever the last Saturday in February is, 25th.
Yeah.
And if you like to see Aces and Eights, I think we start about 9 p.m. there and play for a couple hours. And we're mostly a country, I'd say, band with a little rock mixed in. Mm-hmm. Nothing I would actually choose to play, but I love the songs.
It is ironic. We have 2 members of our band that genuinely just can't stand country music.
It's not,
and yet we're in a country band. They're just like, that's the can't stand. It's just definitely not their preferred. There'd be like 4 other ones.
So we've set up the Fatback Boys, which gives us a kind of alternate route to play some of the songs that we like to play. Although there are some overlaps, and I have learned to like the country songs a lot more than I used to. So. Thanks, John, for being here. Now we're going to play a little game with you, but first let's do the National Day.
National Cabbage Day. You a big cabbage guy?
I am. I love cabbage. I love pork and cabbage in particular. My grandparents, my maternal grandparents, are good German Lutherans right out of Minnesota, and we ate cabbage and sausage all the time.
I have cabbage soup in my fridge from my grandma. So
yeah, that's great. Yes, I love cabbage. Not to be confused with that's the same thing that's cardiovascular bypass graft is called a cabbage. So when you get quadruple bypass surgery or triple bypass surgery, that's called a cabbage.
That sounds a lot more innocent than
in the medical world. Yeah, it's not a small thing.
Yeah.
All right, so John will play the birthday game, and Nick can tell you some of the rules of the birthday game here.
So the birthday game, I'm going to put a celebrity whose birthday is today on the screen. You have to guess their age. If you're within 3 years, you get a point. If you get it right on, you get 2 points. So the first celebrity today.
And I guess I should say, if you have any birthday shout-outs, I think Rochelle Saboski, who works in our office.
You think?
She has a birthday tomorrow. anybody who reports directly to me, I won't tell you how I know. Happy birthday tomorrow, Rochelle. I'm sure she's watching.
Are you positive it's her birthday tomorrow?
No.
Okay. First celebrity is Jim Carrey.
Jim Carrey. Man. I want to say 61.
59.
He is 61. So
Oh!
to a
Boom.
2-1 lead.
By the way, this isn't my strength. Last time, Nick had nobody I knew before. I didn't know any of the people.
It was all actresses, and they were all famous like 10 years ago.
Which, I haven't watched a movie in 10 years. So.
Yeah. Well, I feel like you should know almost all these ones. Steve Harvey. Is
I love The Family Feud.
Yeah, exactly. Who doesn't?
So the way I watched this before, now you have to go first, so then I can do the whole. Okay.
Yeah. All right.
This guy did his homework.
64.
That's where I was gonna go. Shoot. 65.
He is 66. So you guys each get a point. It's in that 2-3 right
Wow. But
Next up, we have Zooey Deschanel.
no idea who that is.
Never watched New Girl?
Are you kidding me? Do I look like I watch a show called New Girl?
Yeah.
I like Cheers and
That's it.
reruns of Seinfeld.
I do also. Yeah, Seinfeld's also good.
Go ahead,
43.
John. No. 34.
She is, in fact, 43 years old.
Did you? It seems like he's got a tablet over here. I don't know what he's doing, and I've had this.
Nope.
That's
Nothing there.
that's
Just
the
my
notes
notes
app.
from there.
That is the notes app.
43.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Last one we have
James
is
Earl Jones.
I go first on this
James Earl Jones. Yes, it's
92.
87.
He
John,
is,
I am
he
North.
is 92.
Nailed it.
So
That one I knew because he didn't. I was reading about him the other day. I don't remember why he got inducted into something.
oh yeah,
Voiceover Hall of Fame or something.
probably. So what's the final score? We're sitting at
John beat me. We don't even need to. It's fine.
Oh, the trophies are. I have the trophies. sitting
Yeah.
over there
Oh,
on the
there's
table.
trophies.
Yeah, you get a trophy.
I will
on the way
display
out,
this
you
in
get-
my office proudly. This will be good.
Well, I want to thank Nick for producing today, I guess, right?
Yeah, thank you.
And John for guesting today.
Thanks
I
for having
appreciate
me.
it. It was very interesting. And thank you for tuning in. And if you stay tuned in, you'll get to watch the Coaches Show immediately following this,
Well,
which
we're going to record it. It's not going to go live. It's going to be
you're not going to be able to watch it live.
until like 1:30.
I was not informed. I didn't know.
Yeah.
All right. The Coaches Show will be on at 1:30 today.
Yes.
All right. We've had